welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast tonight, Wednesday was the second of double sessions for Central High and Educational Complex, and education officials say the first day went well, although there were minor hiccups. News 2's Erica Parsons has an update.
Day one of double sessions for Central High and the Educational Complex got off to a good start.
Tuesday went very well.
The two high schools are sharing one campus with shortened schedules, Complex students in the morning and Centrals in the afternoon.
Of course, a lot of jitters, a lot of anxiety, making sure that both students, the complex students, was able to go through the day and have a very productive day, and then the issues of the transition between both schools.
It means adjustments for not just the students, but teachers, other school staff, and the buses.
The bus company has been fantastic in terms of helping us work out all the logistics in terms of getting to and from.
It's also been challenging for some parents.
I got two daughters, one in 9, one in 11. Now today we understand that the one for ROTC has to come in the morning at 11:15 and the other one has to come for 1. That's 2 trips I got to make.
Tuesday was the first day Central students were back in classes after being off for 2 weeks because of a foul odor that government agencies are now scrambling to identify and fix. EPA and other local investigating agencies are continuing to monitor the air on Central's campus that sickened dozens and closed the school.
They're still doing the process of elimination. They're keeping us up to date in terms of what they're doing. But it's clearly not ready for us.
For now, education officials are concerned with working out the kinks from doubling up, especially the issue of security.
We're having a very good meeting again with Viacom, Homeland Security, Bureau of Information Technology. They're assisting us with our talk-around radios. We're trying to make sure that communication between both schools can happen.
Sharing one campus is the plan at least until the school year ends, but it's not sitting well with everyone.
Education got to do something about that. I'm really happy they're back in school, and I went through double sessions. You know, my daughter's going to have a little chance to go through double session, but it's going to be hard.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Meanwhile, police on St. Thomas are pursuing leads in 3 separate robberies that occurred recently. On March 31st, police were notified of a robbery on First Avenue in St. Thomas. The victim said more than $2,500 in gold jewelry, including a wedding ring, was taken from him. On March 30th, another robbery occurred on Hospital Line. The female victim told police she was robbed at gunpoint by a male who later fled the area on foot. And on March 29th, a victim was robbed of her money and cell phone by a male in the Prince and Scotta area. These cases are all being followed up by detectives from the Criminal Investigation Bureau. A second suspect has been arrested in connection to the February 2nd shooting death of 21-year-old Wellington Pennyfeather Jr. Major crime detectives on St. Croix arrested 23-year-old Wang Ilaraza after a warrant was issued for Ilaraza's arrest. Police received information that he fled to Orlando, Florida, where he was later detained by law enforcement officers there. VIPD detectives brought Ilaraza back to the territory to face a number of charges, including first-degree murder, and he was held without bail and remanded to the Golden Grove Adult Correctional Facility pending further court action. A 911 for Kids campaign is underway by Viacom to help young students understand when and how to use the Universal Emergency Number and the role operators play in providing efficient emergency response. It's part of National 911 Education Month. Throughout April, Viacom's Emergency Communications Center's staff will visit classrooms to teach elementary school-age children the basics of using 911 and about first responders who may arrive at the scene to help. Many 911 centers across the U.S. face the issue of prank calling or non-emergency calls, and the Virgin Islands is no exception, and that's according to Elton Lewis, Viacom's director. The Virgin Islands, meanwhile, Territorial Emergency Management Agency, again Viacom, is continuing its effort to update the USVI State Hazard Mitigation Plan to identify activities that can be undertaken by both the public and private sectors to reduce property damage caused by hazards that impact the territory. As part of the process, Viacom is holding a town meeting on St. Thomas from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, April 3rd at Viacom's headquarters located in Estate Niski. The town meeting is designed to give residents the opportunity to become actively involved. Counseling and Career Services Division of Student Affairs in collaboration with high-intensity drug trafficking agency, hosted the annual Career and Law Enforcement Recruitment Fair in St. Croix. This year's theme was Discover Your Dreams, Uncover Your Future. News2's Shaniqua Robinson has more.
The annual Career and Law Enforcement Recruitment Fair was held at the University of the Virgin Islands on St. Croix.
We are hosting a career fair that's focused a lot on law enforcement, but there are other people who are here as well. And it is a wonderful opportunity for people in the community, but also for our students in particular, to come and pursue job opportunities.
Approximately 24 stations were set up during the fair with a common theme of encouraging the attendees to discover their dreams and uncover the future.
Mostly people think U.S. Attorney's Office, that's going to be attorneys, but it's more than just attorneys. We have people who work at the front desk, secretaries, IT specialists.
The annual Career and Law Enforcement recruitment agencies included the Virgin Islands Police Department, the Bureau of Corrections, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Division of Personnel.
Our office is the central personnel for the government. We are the ones who do the initial recruitment. We do the screening for them. We find out if they're eligible, and then we submit the eligibles to the departments.
Many advancement opportunities were offered during the fair, and the university students as well as the community took full advantage of the opportunity.
I came here with the intention to look into a career in Customs and Border Patrol, but honestly I came here and now I'm interested in TSA. It was very helpful. The people inside were very helpful. The UVI staff were very helpful. The different agencies that I went to, most of the different agencies were hiring right there on the spot. It's been a good experience, and I know that a lot of other people can benefit from this fair.
Shaniqua Robinson, reporting for News 2.
Now, for more information about the annual Career and Law Enforcement Recruitment Fair, you can contact UVI's Counseling and Career Services Office, and that number is 340-692-4180. The 2014 Coast Guard Reauthorization Act passed the full U.S. House of Representatives on Tuesday. Governor John DeYoung says it brings the territory one step closer in its efforts to regain the yachting industry's leadership mantle that was once a vibrant part of the local economy. The measure now awaits actions of the U.S. Senate. The bill, introduced in the House on February 6, provides alternative compliance for U.S. Coast Guard safety regulations for certain U.S. vessels, which are now restricted to 6 passengers while operating in the waters of the U.S. Virgin Islands, whereas foreign vessels do not have the same restrictions. In a statement on the floor of the House, VI Delegate to Congress Donna Christensen praised Transportation Committee members for including language in the bill that would clarify a problem that she says has hurt the charter boat industry in the territory. And be sure to tune in to News 2. We'll have more on that. Well, cable negotiations are complete between Viacom and the company negotiating on behalf of Innovative and other companies. Officials announced Wednesday that the 17 channels that were in jeopardy of being blacked out will remain available. Some of those channels included MTV, VH1, and Nickelodeon. The details of the new agreement aren't being immediately released, but Innovative is thanking its customers for their patience during the talks. Innovative is the parent company of CBS TV2. General Motors' CEO faced a second day of questioning from lawmakers on Capitol Hill. They want answers about the faulty ignition switch that may have caused the deaths of 13 people. So do relatives of those who died, some of whom attending the hearing. Craig Boswell is in Washington with details.
Family members looked on as GM CEO Mary Barra continued to deflect questions about the car company's potential cover-up of a faulty ignition switch linked to 13 deaths. Barra maintained she is waiting for the results of an internal investigation.
Can you tell us whether General Motors intentionally misled its customers and federal regulators when someone decided to delay disclosing or fixing the faulty ignition switch?
I don't know. That's why we're doing the investigation.
Her lack of answers seemed to irritate the senators.
Oh, you can't even talk to that. You don't know anything about anything.
The toughest questions focused on a GM engineer who approved a replacement for the ignition switch without changing its part number. Because of that decision, GM continued to use the faulty switch.
Is he still working there every day?
Yes.
Okay, and you know that he lied under oath?
The data that's been put in front of me indicates that, but I'm waiting for the full investigation.
Several senators are calling for tough action against GM executives if they covered up the deadly mistake.
If they valued cost over quality once we knew there was a safety defect, that is unacceptable.
This, to me, is not a matter of acceptability. This is criminal deception.
Barra did say she would be willing to appear before Congress again when the internal investigation is complete. Craig Boswell for CBS News, Washington.
Keeping our eye on the economy, private employers added 191,000 jobs last month, according to payroll processor ADP. Analysts say it's a sign the job market is recovering. BlackBerry fans have one less place to shop for the phone, starting April 25th, a licensing agreement with T-Mobile expires. BlackBerry and T-Mobile say they no longer have complementary strategies. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 40, Nasdaq 8, S&P 5. Coming up on News 2, well, Christiansted came together Saturday to revive Christiansted once again. The Christiansted Community Alliance hosted a vintage collectibles fair, and they opened Limerick Park to do it. We'll be right back. The Committee on Finance, chaired by Senator Clifford Graham, met at the Legislative Hall Tuesday, where they approved several measures, including a measure that would provide reliable revenue streams to support public hospitals in the territory. Bill number 30-0316, an act to provide that after administrative expenses, all revenues generated by such companies be designated to support the Governor Juan F. Louis Hospital and the Roy Lichtensteiner Hospital equally. Passed unopposed. Now, Senator Tregenza Roach sponsored that measure. Senator Alicia Hansen wants to know when the PX on St. Croix will reopen. She sent a letter out to Adjutant General Ronaldo Rivera Tuesday requesting an update on the status of the PX, which has been closed for more than 1 year. Hansen said the general testified a year ago that the abrupt closure was only temporary and the PX would reopen shortly. Hansen is advocating for the doors to reopen. Military personnel and families rely on the PX to purchase products at lower costs. In recognition of Disability Awareness Month, public and private sector human resource professionals, employers, and business owners all came together in sessions held over the past 2 weeks to raise employer awareness and to demonstrate the benefits of hiring people with disabilities. A collaborative effort by the Department of Labor, Department of Human Services, Vocational Rehabilitation Services, Virgin Islands Association for Independent Living, WorkAble Inc., and UVI Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities. It included seminars conducted on St. Thomas on March 20th and on St. Croix, March 27th. A ban on burning throughout the territory for St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix is in effect until further notice, and that's the word from Darrell George, the Assistant Director of the Virgin Islands Fire Service. He said it's appropriate that this ban be put in place as a precaution due to the dry weather and recent increase of brush fires. He says if there are any questions, please contact the Arson and Prevention Unit. The number there is 773-8050 or 774-7610. Farmers, agricultural professionals, and conservation environmental specialists, a free workshop is coming up on Thursday that will help you to expand your knowledge of cover crops and how they play an integral role in the health of our soil. That's on Thursday, April 3rd from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and Friday, April 4th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's at UVI's St. Croix Research and Extension Center, room 133. Now you can call to register. The number is 340-692-4020. Christiansted came together Saturday to revive Christiansted once again. The Christiansted Community Alliance hosted a vintage collectibles fair, and they opened Limerick Park to do it. The bazaar featured numerous vendors who offered collectibles, arts and crafts, and entertainment. There was a masterwood carver and plants and spices all for sale. There was also storytelling, books, and book giveaways at the free event. Other organizations were on hand to share information about their particular groups. And more partying. It's going to be the biggest fete ever seen. Carnival 2014. Things are starting to heat up. Here's a look at some of the events, so you can go ahead and mark them on the calendar. The Calypso Elimination Tent, that's Saturday, April 5th at 8 p.m. The Prince and Princess competition is on Sunday, April 13th at 5 p.m. Then the Queen Selection Show, Saturday, April 19th at 8 p.m. The young ones hit the red carpet for the Toddlers Derby. That's Sunday, April 20th at 5 p.m. Now that event also includes the Best Dressed Doll competition and the traditional games at the Lionel Roberts Stadium. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.